Alright, hey, what's going on everybody? It is me, Postel3, the one and only, the mid YouTuber himself, and I'm back today with a kind of a different kind of video. So I'm not actually going to be playing anything on Roblox today. Today I'm actually going to be showing you kind of a small tutorial on how to make like really nice photography photos on Roblox Studio. Now if you don't know this about me, I take a ton of like Roblox photography. You know, it might seem kind of loserish or like very Redditor-like to you. You probably think I'm some like overweight man in his mom's basement doing this. But Roblox Studio offers a ton of creativity, whether it's making games, whether it's making photos, models, meshes, scripting, doing all sorts of stuff. There is so much to do with Roblox Studio, and for me, what I like to do is I like to make photography, like very nice, you know, like sunset, bloomy photography. And I'm going to show you how I do it. And if you want to see, I'll show up some of my photography that I've done with my Roblox character, with characters I've made, my friends' Roblox characters. I'll put those up on the screen right now so you can see some of them. So here's some of my work. I like it. I'm proud of it. I think it looks pretty good. And sometimes I use like outside websites, some websites called like Be Funky. That's what I'll use for like different depths of field if I want the depth of field to be running into my character or something like that. But like 99% of what you see on these photos are made in Roblox Studio, and I'm gonna show you how to do it starting now. So here we are in Roblox Studio, and if you've never used Roblox Studio before, I recommend maybe, you know, doing a tutorial on how to like maybe use like the menus and stuff, because here's the menus. Here's what it all looks like. You know, you got your toolbox on the left. This is where you can get free models and stuff for making games and whatnot. Usually when you become a more experienced developer and a more experienced person in Roblox Studio, you tend to make your own stuff over actually using free models. But that can be like months upon years down the road. It took me a long time to actually start building my own things. And here, I'll even show you two examples of how far I've come when it comes to Roblox Studio. So let's get one of my old models from years back. Here, we'll use this Ghostface model I made back in 2021. Now, it's not bad, and I even, you know, I posed him, which isn't bad, but these are all free models you're looking at. So let's take a look at a newer Ghostface model I made this year. So here is a newer Ghostface model I made this year. Now this is using an older robe that I used like a year or two back, but the mask is new, and so is the knife. And as you can see, this is clearly a downgrade from what this is. Just everything, just look at it. I even have the drapes on the back, like everything. I use textures of sparkle fabric. I used everything. So that's just an example of how I've gotten to the point that I'm at. So I would like to show you how to make photography. I'm gonna make it as simple as possible, so just in case if you never have used Roblox Studio before, I'm gonna try and help you with it because it can be super simple. So let's make a photography of our character in a sunset in a field. How about that? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, if we're going to make a photography photo of our character in a field during the sunset, what you want to do first, what I want you to do is I want you to go this here. You want to open up your toolbox, and if you don't have this open, if you go to the home tab, there should be a toolbox button right here. You can click and it'll turn it on and off. So I want you to open that up, and I want you to go to models and go down to where it says plugins right here. Click on plugins and type in avatar. Just look up avatar. And just pick one of the avatar. There's tons of avatar importers. What these do, so like for example, click on one. Click on this one, for example. Click on it, and it says down here, buy for free. Just get it, and you'll have it. It'll say installation complete. And then what I want you to do, up here at the very top of your screen, it should say you're on the home tab. Go over to the plugins tab, and you should have character inserter, or I have another one, load character. Just pick one of those. And what this does, when you click on it, it'll bring up this little menu. And what you can do is you can put in your character or your username, and it'll let you spawn in your avatar. You have tons of choices. You have R6, which is the classic looking Roblox player. You have R15, which is more, you know, high definition. You have more limbs to work with. You have hands, lower arm, upper leg, lower leg, feet. I like to go with R6 because I think it looks a little cleaner. And it's a little easier to animate. But you can do R15, and then you have old school R15, which the character loader I have actually gives you the option of R throw, which if you have an Arthro character, which is a you know, like a realistic humanoid character, you can click Arthro. So let me get my character in. Alright, I've loaded in my character right here, and as you can see, it says my username at the top. So next, what I want you to do is, it doesn't really matter, like, because we're not making a game here. By the way, I'm on a completely blank template, and after I'm done with this template, I usually just exit out of it and don't save. But if you would like to save after we're done, I'll show you how to do it when we're done here. But it doesn't matter since we're not actually playing the game. But what I like to do is I like to anchor the model. That means if you actually were in game, it would not fall over. It would just be anchored to the location where it's at. It's not gonna move. If you touch it, it's not gonna move at all. It's just kind of a personal gripe, but I like to anchor my stuff. So here we are. I have my character, and what we're gonna do is we're going to click on him. And if you have your Explorer open, I like to have my Explorer and Properties tabs open. And if you don't know how to do that, go back up to the tabs up here, Home, Model, Avatar, Test, View, Plugins, and click View. And then right here it says Explorer and Properties. You want to click those and open those. And once you have those open, you should see over here, you should see your username or whatever avatar you loaded in. So unless you want to keep the name at the top of your avatar, to get rid of that, you want to double click. So you want to double click, and then you want to click again, and it'll give you the option to rename this model, which is your avatar. So to get rid of the name, you just want to press backspace, and then space, and then enter. And it'll remove the name. This model officially has no name. Alright, so after you've done that, your model is anchored, it has no name. Now what I like to do is, if you see this little arrow next to the model, if you click that and open that, it'll bring up everything that's a part of the model. I'm talking the torso, the right arm, left arm, head, even a script in your character, also everything that makes up your avatar. And what I like to do is I like to, so these are your hats. These blue little hat icons, these are your hats on your avatar. And if you open these up, you can see that they're actually just models. And I like to take these models. See, if you open it up, you can see the mesh of your actual hat. Like, it's kind of hard to explain how it works because I'm not like a professional in like video games, but I know what meshes are and I know how they work on Roblox Studio. But basically, you take for like, if you want to get a mesh on Roblox, you have to get a part and you have to put the mesh into the part, which is what's going on here. You can see the mesh is inside this part. So these are your hats, and to select multiple things at once, you want to hold Control and then click. And what I like to do is I like to get all my hats, and I like to, so you want to click on one of them, click and hold, drag them, and I like to drag them into my head. I want to, so go over your head and then just unclick, and it'll bring all your hats into your head. So now when you want to move your head around, instead of having to click all these and your head, you can just click your head and it'll move all your stuff. Usually if I'll have like a necklace, like I have on my character, I have a cross necklace, I'll take the necklace and instead of putting it in the head, I will put it in the torso. So instead of moving with my head, it moves with my torso. So after you've done that, I like to delete everything, like all these blue hats. Now that they have no real meaning or reason to exist, you can delete all these. And also you can delete the animate script that has no purpose in what we're doing. So after you've done all that, this is what your character, this is what all the things should look like. This is what you should have, and this is what your character should look like, and all your hats should be in there. If you have a necklace, you could put it in the torso. If you have like a tail on your character, you could put it in the torso. If you have a bracelet or something, you could put it in the arms, and just stuff like that. If you have wings, you could put it on the torso and such and such. But after that, since we're making a photography photo with a sunset and a field, let's go ahead and load in the field. So what you want to do is there's an editor up here. You want to click on that editor. And from there, you're going to click generate, because this will generate a completely, like, it's like Minecraft. It generates a completely random field of your choice, and you can choose the size of it. Now, let me open this a little more. You can choose the size of it, what it is, how much water's on it, caves. It's super cool. There's even seeds like Minecraft. So we're gonna make ours, since we're going pretty simple, let's go, yeah, how about 3000 by 3000? And then, so this is length, Z is width, and Y is height. Now, if you do like 3,000 height, that's gonna be a lot to load. So I usually do about 100 height. And since we're going to be taking a photo in like a field, like a grassy field, what you want to do is you want to select just hills. You think plains, but no, you want to select just hills. And then biome size and blending doesn't really matter. I like to turn off the caves because they're kind of pointless. And after you have all that, you want to click this blue button that says generate. And then this little thing will pop up that'll show you how long it'll take to generate it. And if you actually take your camera and look out, you can see the terrain actually loading in. And it's done. And as you can see, since we made it so because it's hills, it is hilly. But I like to have it a little flatter because it's a little easier to make your character animate on it, or like, you know, pose them like in a flatter area over hills. So as you can see, there's a lot of, you know, where mountains are supposed to be or hills are supposed to be, there's mud. And you can see there's a bunch of trails everywhere. If you want to get rid of those, you want to click, so you're in create, in the terrain editor, you want to click edit, and you want to click this button called paint. And this will let you paint over like another kind of material. So what you want to do is you want to, whatever brush size you'd like, you can change it from square to cylinder to sphere. We'll do square for now because it's a little bit bigger. And I'll go all the way in size. And you want to make sure you have grass as clicked. You could do ice, water, whatever you want. But let's do grass. And when you click and hold, it'll paint grass on your terrain. And you don't have to do the whole thing because a lot of this will not be seen in the photo we take. But this is what you want to do. You just want to paint it around, and I think this should be good. So then you want to close out of the terrain editor, and if you did what I did, put that back. I made it a little bigger so you can see a little better. And so here is our working field. This is basically where we'll be making the photo. This is where the photo will be taken. And we're also doing a sunset. So in order to get a sunset, you have to make the sun go down a little bit. So in order to do that, what you want to do is you want to go over to the Explorer again. And the Explorer is basically how you mess with the world, how you see it, like how the world looks. And you have terrain, you have your workspace with all your actual parts and stuff. So what you want to do is there's a lighting option right here. And lighting completely messes with the lighting in your world. You know, you can change the time of day, and if you open up the little arrow right here, you can see depth of field, sun rays, the bloom, the skybox. And we'll get to the skybox in just a second, but let's go ahead and make it sunset. So after you click on lighting, this should open up in the properties tab. Let me get this up higher. So in the properties tab, there's a whole bunch of stuff you could play around with. You could play around with the brightness, you could play around with the ambient color, which will make it like a lot wider, a lot darker. Usually for sunsets, I like to turn all these colors things, these little squares, I like to turn them all completely black. And for brightness, you want a little bit of brightness. So I do about 2.5, 2.6. And if you scroll down, you'll see clock time. Clock time is how you get the sun down. The more you go is the closer the sun gets to the edge of the horizon. You know, you could go high up, you can get to midnight, you can see the moon. This is how you change the time of day. So we're doing sunset. So let's get the sun to about right here. That's good. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but in a lot of Roblox games, the sun is way too big. And if you look at this sun, it is way too big. So in order to change that, first what we need to do is we're going to get a different skybox. Unless if you like this skybox, if you like how the sky looks with no clouds or anything, then perfectly fine, go with that. But if you want to change the skybox into something a little more realistic, like I'm going to be using a free model for this. Like for example, this realistic sky. Let's click on that. So when we click on that, that's going to give us a brand new sky to work with. This skybox is not that realistic. Okay, hold on. We're not going to do that one. We're going to look up sky in the models, and we're going to get a different sky. This is one I always like to use, sunless blue skybox. So we click on this, and here we are. We have a brand new skybox, and we can click and delete the old one if you'd like. So when you have the skybox that you want to click on it. You want to actually click on the skybox, and it'll show you everything about the skybox. So basically, when you click on something on the Roblox, like when you click something on Roblox Studio, properties is basically the properties of whatever you click on. So when we click on skybox, you have the images that make up the skybox and the size of the celestial bodies, like the sun and the moon. So the sun is 21. That is the size on it. So we're gonna bump it down to about 4. All right, that's a lot better. Or how about 6? 6 is about an accurate sun size. That is a way better looking sun than the giant monstrosity that it was. So you can go to 160. 60 is the max. You can go to 60 if you want, but we're doing 6. And to get the sun to look a little more realistic, like at sunset, we're gonna click on this down here. It says sun rays, and if you click on that, sun rays will open up the properties for the sun's rays. They're very lackluster right now. You can turn them on and off just to see how they work. So you want to turn the intensity up. If you see it says intensity and spread, the intensity is how much sun rays is actually being emitted. And then the spread is how much it's going over your screen. So you want like a little bit of sun rays like this, and you want to spread it out a good bit. Just like that. Just like how I have it. That's about good. We'll do 0.5 and 0.1. How about that? 0.5 and 0.1. That's what I'm on. So after you've got your terrain, you've got your sky, you've got your sun, now it is time to actually fill up the land. So like we're gonna add some like free model trees, because like I don't really want to like make my own trees right now, so I'm just gonna use some free models. So if you go into the toolbox and you're in models on here, you want to look up just tree or trees, whatever you want. Look up trees, and since I'm just doing this real quick, I just need some quick trees. These are trees I've always liked to use, these realistic trees. And you just kind of want to just place them down and move them around. And to duplicate, so what I'm doing, I'm going to duplicate this. This is a model of multiple trees. As you can see, if you open it up here, it's multiple trees. So to duplicate, you could go up here and right click on the model, and there will be a duplicate button. But an easier way to do it is to click on the model and press Control and D at the same time. So Control and D, and that will duplicate it real fast. And also, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier, to get precise movement on like your model, so you notice how I'm very slowly moving it. If you're brand new to Roblox Studio, it might not be that easy. And if you try and spin it, which I'll get to, it's probably like super choppy. It might be like this. If you're new to Roblox Studio, your rotating might look like this, and your movement might look kind of like this. So to get it to more precise movement, you want to go up here and you want to click on model in the upper tabs. And when you click on that, there's a little area called snapping. This is where you want to change it. So I don't know what yours is at. I kind of just put mine up just to get that, effect. But what you want to do is you want to click on your little rotate area, this right here, this top box, and you want to put 1, just 1. This will make it to where your rotating is a lot more precise, and your movement, which is right here, the second box, I like to put that to 0.001. This will make your movement super precise, and that will make everything a lot easier for you. So make sure you do that. So I'm just gonna put a bunch of trees around, and when I'm done, I will update. And also, if you'd like, you can if you'd like, you can rotate the trees a little bit to make them not look so copy and pasted. Alright, so I think that'll be good. That's enough trees. Don't worry too much about the background, because the background's actually going to be blurred with the depth of field we're going to be doing later on. So after you have all the trees, if you go to your Explorer, you can see all these models. They're really, kind of in the way. What you want to do, if you want to, get rid of all those and make it a lot easier and cleaner looking, you want to click on the first model and click and hold and drag down till you get to the very end, the last model, and that'll highlight all the trees. And after you do that, you want to right click on these models, and you want to either click group as a folder or group as a model. For this sake, I'm going to group it as a folder, which means you can still pick like each individual one, but it makes it a lot less, messy. So then we can rename this folder. If you want to rename it, you can rename it trees. And you might be wondering, like, okay, but after we do that, once we're animating, what if we accidentally click one of the trees and we move it on accident? Well, don't worry. There is an undo button. If you go up here, right next to the home tab, there's this little arrow that's pointing to your left. That is the undo button. If you click that, it'll undo a mistake. And to make sure you do not grab something on accident, what you can do is you can click this lock button right in the middle on the home tab. You click that button and you want to go over to a model like this and just go near one of the trees and click, and you'll see the lock icon actually lock. Once that has happened, once you've done that, re-click this right here, the select button, and oh, look at that. You can no longer grab the trees. And if you want to unlock it, just do that again and then click the trees and it'll do an unlock icon. So now the trees are not able to be grabbed, so you don't have to worry about it. Alright, now that we got a bit of a forest going, now what we're going to do is, let's just add a few random things just for fun. We could add, you could add whatever you want in this picture. If you want to add like a cabin, like a cabin house, we could look up cabin and just pick something that you'd like. Like I said, I'm using free models for this just to make it simple. Here's a little cool little cabin free model. We'll put that there. We'll rotate it. Also, if you're wondering how I'm rotating, go up here and if you see there's select, move, scale, and rotate. Select means you just grab it and move it around. Move means you actually have these, X, Y, and Z arrows. You can move it precisely. Scale means you make it larger or you make it smaller. And finally, rotate means, well, it's pretty simple. You rotate it wherever you like. So that's how you do all that. So I'm gonna put the cabin, let's say right here. Also, you want to make sure that the cabin is actually touching the ground. So you just want to get close and look and firmly plant it. And to make it look a little more real, you want to open up the editor again up here. And you should still be on paint. And if you're not, you can just re-click it. And what you want to do, we're going to add a little bit of dirt around the house so it looks a little more real. Let's click the sphere and let's click mud. And what you want to do, you just want to go on top of it and just hold click and go around the house so the grass isn't clipping through the house. See how it looks a little better, right? And if you want, you can add like a little trail. That's a huge trail. We can just add a little trail that goes to nowhere. You could do a trail that goes that way, a trail that goes this way, whatever you want. And that adds a little more. And if you're thinking it's a little too dark, you can add light. You can look up light and just get some sort of light. Just for this sake, I'm gonna grab this light, and I'm gonna put my character about right here, right in the middle, and we're gonna use this light to give a pretty cool lighting effect. So if you want, you can click a light and just put it here just for now. So then if you want, just add to the area. You can look up stuff you'd want to add. If you want to add fencing, if you want to add lighting, horses, other people in the background, whatever you want. See, like we can add this little farm fence. It's huge. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is a free model. Obviously this isn't mine, so we could scale it down to a different size, and we could just add it. I like the color white, so we'll make it a white fence. And yeah, just add some fencing to make it look a little more realistic. Alright, so I've added some fencing. It looks just a little bit better, add a little life to it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get our character. And if you'd like, you can take all these fences or whatever you put, and you could group it as a folder and name it fences if you'd like. And then lock it with the lock feature so you don't accidentally click it. So let's grab our character. Now, if you're wondering where your character is, they're still here. Where they are is they're under the ground. If you go under the ground, you should still see your character on the original base plate. And if you just want, you can grab them. Now, usually what I'll do, just in case if I accidentally mess up the the character while I'm like posing them, I'll duplicate them. So I have another, like a spare one under the ground just in case I need to go get them. So if you want, you can do that. So what you want to do, you want to click and hold on your character. You want to click them and you want to hold them and you want to drag them up and out of the ground, and you want to put them right here and you want to unclick. So here's my character. They're in the area that I want them in. And all right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get to posing them. So I'll just do like an easy pose, something that'll that anyone could follow with. So maybe maybe turn them a little bit, maybe turn them to the right a little bit. If we'll open them up in the Explorer, and we'll click his head, we'll move him, maybe tilt his head a little bit, tilt it down a little bit, and and maybe move his leg a little that way, a little that way, move it out, maybe move his right arm in like that. It might be a little easier to animate if you have like a blocky avatar. It might be a little easier to animate because you know, blocky avatars are just so photogenic with how you move their limbs. R15 and like Robloxian 2.0 and the man package, they're a little harder because, you know, of the kind of package and the kind of, you know, humanoid they are. But it's still, you know, if as long as you get it like exactly right, it should look still really good. So I think that will do. I think that's pretty easy. Oh, let's move the left leg a little bit. Let's get him a little higher. Get this leg out a bit. All right, I think that's a pretty, you know, easy thing to animate. And from this angle, as you can see, this arm is kind of separated from the body. Well, don't worry. I am wearing a black shirt, so it might look a little bit better, but if you're wearing a different color shirt, it might not be as good. But from this angle, you can't even tell that his arm is, you know, dislocated from his body. What matters is what it looks like on the photo. It doesn't matter how good it looks from the back. What it matters is how it looks from the angle that you want. And also, if you're wondering how I'm going so slow with my camera, when you're moving around with WASD, hold shift and you can get a more slower, precise movement. So after you've gotten your character posed, now what we're gonna do is we're going to take this light right here and we're gonna get it to, let's say right here. And what you wanna do, so it should be named, like if you got this specific light model, it should be called literally model. And we're gonna open it up and we're gonna open it up again because it says light, and you open it up again. Basically, whatever light model you got, you want to open it up until you see this point light. Point light or surface light or whatever light it is. It should have a little light bulb icon. And when you see that, click on it. And then after you click on it, there's this thing called shadows. And if that is not clicked, you want to make sure to click it because that's going to make everything look a lot more realistic. So after you've done that, you can mess with, you know, how much light is being emitted. Like you could do barely any light. You could do a whole lot of light. You could do it super bright. You could do it super dim. I'm gonna do decently bright, like this, but I'm gonna do it very small. And what I'm also gonna do is I'm also gonna click these two parts. I'm gonna make them transparent, which is invisible. How do you do that? Is you just double click these, and in properties it says transparency. You want to put that to 1 to make it invisible. And I'm gonna move it up a little bit to make it look a little nicer. Maybe about right here. And you don't have to worry about clicking it because it'll be back there. And also, I might as well go ahead and show you the different lighting that Roblox offers you. So if you click on lighting again, there's this thing called technology. And technology is basically what kind of lighting do you want for your world. So the common lighting for a Roblox game is shadow map. That's usually what the games have. But more realistic games will have this called future. If you click on future, you can see the lighting turned a lot different. It looks a lot more realistic. And if you want, you could play with this, which I think this is actually the one I'm going to use because I use it quite a bit. You could kind of put it up, get it like that. I mean, look at that. That's a lot cooler, right? So now I'm going to try and get the light to a point where I like it. So let me grab it again. You can also highlight in the world if you need to grab something specifically and you can't find it, if it's invisible. Okay, I'm actually gonna make it a little bit dimmer. Alright, I think that's good.
Hey y'all, so a quick edit here. If you're noticing why my Roblox character has a very high definition face, originally it was low quality and now it's HD. It's basically a trick that I mastered. I remastered my face and I put it on my avatar. I don't really expect you guys to do it because it's a lot of processing and like a lot of steps because I had to go to another website and make it from scratch and then upload it on the Roblox. So just don't worry about it. Maybe I'll do another tutorial on that for having like HD faces because you have to make each face individually. But yeah, just don't worry about that.
Now our character's posed, we have the lighting that we like, and now all we have to do is, if you want to do like additional tweaks, you can go to atmosphere. You know, you can make like a thick foggy kind of atmosphere. You could have no fog at all, which would be kind of odd. I'll do like I'll do a little bit of fog. I don't think there needs to be that much fog for this. And you could, change the color of the fog. You could change the color of whatever you like, the lighting, the skybox. There's not much you can do. You could change like the bloom, which doesn't really do much. But this right here, the depth of field, that's what we're going to be getting into real soon. But first, what we need to do before we hit the depth of field, we need to get the proper camera angle. So you might be thinking, okay, well, I can just place my camera like this and take the photo, right? Well, no, you don't want to do. That is kind of an amateur kind of way to do it. If you want to get like that movie style look, if you're looking for like a video game cutscene look or a movie style look, you have to change the camera field of view. So what you want to do is in the Explorer, right below Workspace, it should say Camera. Click on Camera and go to the properties and scroll all the way down till you see Field of View. And when you see Field of View, click on that and it should say 70. To get that movie look, you need to go to about 30. So let's put 30, enter, and whoa, look at that. It looks a lot more movie-like. So I'm gonna take away all the toolbox and stuff just to, make my point seen. Okay, those sun rays are a little bright, so I'm gonna turn those down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put my sun a little higher up just so the sun rays don't look so low quality. And I'm going to, I think that's about good. I think that's about nice. Let's do that and see, look at this. It looks a lot more movie-like, but if you did put things in the background, they probably are kind of out of the shot now because the camera's so zoomed in. So this is a complete choice of you if you want to do this. If you want to have like a more, wider style of photo, you could do like 50, which 50, gives you a lot more room to put stuff in the background. But for me, I like to do movie style shots, so I do 30. Or sometimes I even do 20, but I'll do 30 for this just to make it easy. So now our photo is almost complete, but now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to depth of field. And in depth of field, that is gonna make your photo go from some just generic Roblox photo to an actual cinematic looking, photography photo. So when you click on depth of field, you wanna click enabled in the properties. And that is going to make your background a little blurry. So since we're not going to be focusing on the background, this right here that says focus distance, put this to 0. It says 0.05, put it to 0 because we're not worrying about that. That makes the foreground blurry. So you see that if you turn that up, that's going to make the foreground blurry. We need the background blurry. So in focus radius, you want to take that in the slider, you want to slide that in. To about, just put it somewhere like that because we need to turn it up. We're going to turn up the intensity of the blur with far intensity. And when you do that, it'll make the background a lot more blurry. And that looks a lot better than having no blur. It looks a lot more cinematic, more professional. So I think for this, we'll put it to about right here. That'll be good. And wow, look at that. We're almost done. Our photo is coming together. Oh, and by the way, if you're on a lower performance PC and you're playing on one graphic, which means your game looks like this. If your game looks like this, then don't worry. You can do everything that we've done, but when you want to take the photo, what you want to do is you want to put your render distance by press Alt and S on your keyboard at the same time, and it'll bring up this little menu. And then click on rendering, and then quality level, and then you would put that up to the max at 21. Now, yes, your game is going to be a little choppy, your frame rate is going to be really slow, but that doesn't matter because you're only going to be on that quality level just for the photo. And then when you're done taking the photo, you can put it back. And you might have to go to the max graphics to see like where you need to put your depth of field, but that's it. You just need it for the depth of field, the sun rays, and that is all, and the actual photo itself. And then you can go right back to whatever quality you were on. So I actually want to add something real quick. I always like to add this in my photos. We're gonna add something. It's actually a free model. It's called dust, and it's a dust particle effect that the sun will make, and it's not necessarily realistic. But here you see these little dust particles. I think they make a photo look 10 times better. So now that we have that, I think the specs are a little too big. So I open it up and I go to this thing called particle emitter. It says size right here, and if you can't find it, there actually is a search bar right here. I like to go to size, and I like to put it at 1. It makes it look a little more real. And I'm gonna lock it so I don't accidentally click it. And boom, now we have this. Oh, hold on, make it a little closer to my character. Now we have this really cool dust effect around our character. It looks a lot cooler. So now we're practically done. We can take the shot, and I'll show you how to do it in just a second. But another thing you can do, if you don't like the coloring, you can go to lighting in the Explorer tab, and this little plus icon, click on it, and this menu pops up. And what you want to do, you want to click on this right here to the far left, the 1, 2, from sky, 1, 2, 3, 4th down, called color correction effect. Click that, and it'll pop up next to depth of field. You click it on your Explorer tab, and it gives you the option to turn up the contrast. Look at that. You could turn up the contrast. You could turn up the saturation, which makes it more colory or less colory, whatever you want. You could turn up and down the brightness of the image. You can make it completely black like Helen Keller. You can make it super bright like heaven, like whatever you want. So for this, I like to turn up the contrast by just a little bit and turn up the saturation, or I like to turn down the saturation a little bit because my character is super colorful with the hat. I like to turn down the coloration. The saturation, not the coloration. The saturation. Sorry, I'm talking. Hold on. Let me get a sip of water. And brightness, I don't really touch because, there's no real need. But if you want, you could turn up the brightness one and then turn the contrast up like 2. And it'll give this really cool effect, which I actually kind of like. I think I'll keep it. So now if you've done all that and your photo looks like this, then you're done. Now you could take the photo. So the way to take the photo is you can take, so where you want to go, you want to go to this, up to this little tab menu area again, and you want to click on view. And if you go over here, right here in actions, it says screenshot. Now you can press screenshot, just you click as many times as you want, it'll take screenshots, and it'll pop up in your Roblox photo folder in your file explorer. But the thing is, our screen is a square, and if you want an actual cinematic photo, you need the photo to be longer, right? Well, you can do that. You just have to take away your toolbox, and you have to take away your explorer and properties. So in order to do that, we're in view, so it's perfect. So what you want to do, you just want to go over here to where it says explorer, properties, and toolbox, and click them. And look at that. Our photo has just turned into a cinematic masterpiece. And if you want it even better, you can go all the way up here. Like, so you see my mouse, you see go all the way up here to this tiny little arrow right here. Click it, and your photo is even bigger now. And to take the photo, you just want to click view up here and just click screenshot. Click as many times as you want. Sometimes I like to click it a few times to make sure it actually took it. And then it takes it without this little bar up here. This bar does not exist on the photo, so don't worry about it, because once you click the actual game, it disappears. And there you have it. Your photo is completely done. And here, I'll even show you what it looks like. So here is the original photo with the original dimensions. It's more of like a square, kind of rectangle-ish. And here is the newer photo with the wider lens, and I think it looks a lot better like this. But that's another thing that can kind of come down to what you want personally. I like the wider lenses, but if you want square photos, maybe it works a little better for you. It's whatever you want. Hey, real quick, this is something I'm recording after the video. I forgot to show you how to save this. If you want to save the world that you've made, what you want to do is, you can click this arrow back up here to open this back up. And it says file up here on the very, very top left. You go to file, and you could publish it as an actual game, or you could save it as a file. And saving as a file means it's just in your files, and you can open it up whenever. It doesn't actually go onto the Roblox platform. So you can go to save the file, and once you click save the file, it should bring up your Internet Explorer. And you can click a name and type it and then press enter, and it'll save your world as a file or game, whatever you choose. And that'll be all. That is pretty much everything you need to know to get started on professional Roblox photography. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, or dislike and unsub, whatever you want. It's a free country, or it's a free world. You do whatever you like. This is the first Post-L3 video in quite a while, but I hope to upload maybe a little more. I just had to take a little break. If you think this video was helpful, let me know. If you think it was a piece of shit, let me know. If this video was awful, let me know, and I'll take that criticism and I'll try and build off of it. But that's all I have for you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and as always, stay safe, and Christmas is coming. Mariah Carey has fucking de-thawed. She's coming, and she's coming soon. See you guys later. Did I say de-thawed? I mean thawed out, not de-thawed. That means she's icing. God, I'm such an idiot.
Be sure to dislike and unsub for my next newest video coming out soon. Thanks for watching and see y'all later.